to the kangaroo, "Good gracious, how you hop over the fields and water too, and if you never would stop." Now we see that there is a conversation which is going between the duck and the kangaroo. Now duck comes forward and speaks to kangaroo. Now they are not friends, they are just strangers. So she is making a request. First of all, she is appreciating kangaroo and then she is making a request to him. Now when she is appreciating, he says, "Oh my god, you're so good looking, you're so gracious the way you hop." So hop is how a kangaroo jumps. So you see kangaroo is always like this and he just jumps. Kangaroo does not walk. Kangaroos just hop. Okay, just like frogs. Frogs, they do not walk. Frogs also hop. Hop means to jump. So now duck is praising the kangaroo and says, "Oh my god, you're so gracious, you're so beautiful, you're so elegant looking. The way you hop, the way you are jumping, that is so beautiful. Over the fields and the water too." So now duck is saying you're not just roaming. You can roam anywhere, you can hop anywhere over the fields when you are passing the fields, and even in the water too. Water which is not at a very high depth, so there kangaroos can actually hop. So she says that you can even hop in water, and that is so elegant. As if you would never stop. Now she's saying that looking at you, it feels that you're never going to stop. Obviously, kangaroos cannot stop hopping because that's what they are meant for. So duck is praising the kangaroo the way a kangaroo is hopping, and she's actually very elegantly saying that I wish I could also do something like you. As if you were never would stop. So now she says that you are not going to stop. My life is a bore in this nasty pond, and I long to go out in the world beyond. Now see the rhyming scheme, pond, beyond. So now what duck says is that my life is the bore. Bore here means boring. So duck's life is very dull, very boring because she is living in a nasty pond, nasty small dirty pond. So she says that I am living in a very small dirty pond, and this pond is very small. And I long to go out. Long here does not mean lengthwise. Long here means that she has a desire. Okay, she is also longing. She has a great desire that she also wants to get out and see the world beyond. World which is beyond this small nasty pond. So that's what she says, that I also want to go out of this pond and see what is there outside the world, like you do. I also want to see what all beautiful things are there in the world, and she has this strong desire to do it. I wish I could hop like you, said the duck to the kangaroo. Now she again says that I wish I could hop like you. I wish I could also jump and see the world, go to different places just like you do. And who says this to whom? This is said by duck to the kangaroo. Now this is very important. In the first stanza we see it is only duck who is speaking. Now duck is the speaker in the first stanza and she is speaking to whom? To kangaroo. Now this is something that could be asked in your exams, that who said this to whom? Okay, who said these lines to whom? So you need to read the poem very carefully, very smartly, that you could actually understand who is saying these lines and to whom these lines are being addressed to. So take care of all these little things. Moving on to next stanza. Now please give me a ride on your back, said the duck to the kangaroo. Now duck again is asking the kangaroo to please give her ride on his back. Now duck is making a request that if you could, as I cannot hop like you can do because I am not meant to do it, but I am making you a very small request that if you would give me a permission and I could sit on your back and you could give me a ride. I would sit quiet and still and say nothing but quack. Then the duck says that I am not going to do anything. I would just sit quietly and I'll not disturb you, but all I would say is just quack. Now if you see the literal meaning of this poem is that duck cannot even speak anything, right? Duck is all the duck is going to say is just quack and nothing else. Okay, but here as I told you, the poem is a nonsense, so that's why duck is saying that I'm not going to say anything. Obviously duck, you cannot say anything beside quack. So duck says that I'm not going to say anything, but just quack. She's just going to quack on the back of kangaroo the whole of the long day through, and we would go to the D and the jelly-boo-lee. So then the duck says that the whole day long, for the whole day, we are going to just travel. You are going to hop, I'm going to sit on your back and I'll be just saying quack, and for the whole day we will just be traveling. We would go to the D. D here is and jelly-boo-lee. These two are imaginary places in this poem which actually does not exist, and it is only to give the lyrical effect to the poem. That is, these two things are being these two words are being written by the poet. Okay, so she is just talking about some imaginary places, that there is D and jelly-boo-lee and we'll be going to these two places. Means we will be covering the whole world. We'll be going to different places and we'll be covering the places of the world. Over the land and over the sea. So now she says that it is not only we would be just going to these two places, but there will be many places. We'll be going over the land. We'll be completely traveling over complete land and complete sea. We would also go over the sea. Please take me on a ride. I do. Oh, do, said the duck to the kangaroo. So, oh, do again here actually means that, oh, please do it. So, she's again making a request to kangaroo that, oh, please take me on a ride. And who is saying this line? Again, duck is saying these lines to kangaroo. So, what duck is trying to say? Duck is saying these lines to kangaroo that, oh, please take me on a ride on your back, and please just take me so that we both can travel through the sea and through the land. We could cover both the things and we could travel around the whole world. Now let's see the next paragraph. Now we see that now finally the kangaroo, he starts speaking and addressing duck. Said the kangaroo to the duck, this requires some little reflection. Perhaps on the whole it might bring me luck. Now he is now speaking. Kangaroo finally spoke up to the duck and says that it's fine, but this would require some little reflection. Reflection here means that little thinking. So he says that, okay, I can think about this matter, but I need some time to think about it, as I have to completely see what all positives and negatives it would be. Perhaps on whole, like perhaps he's saying that altogether, if I say there's nothing harm in it, there's nothing bad I can do about it, there's no harm in it, and probably it would also bring me some luck. It is going to bring me some positivity and some positive luck, so it's fine, I'm ready to be with it. And there seems but one objection, which is, if you let me speak so bold, your feet are unpleasantly wet and cold. Now what kangaroo is saying is that if you let me speak, then if you let me speak very boldly, boldly is without any fear. So if you let me speak without any fear, there is something, I have one objection. Objection here means one problem. So he says that I have one objection, one problem. If you allow me, I would speak it very boldly without any fear. I could tell it to you what is the problem that I would have, and if you have solution for it, then probably there will be no problem. So he says that your feet are unpleasantly wet and cold. Now the duck, who actually stays in the pond in the water maximum of her time, so that's why her feet is always wet and it is so cold, because of the cold water in which the duck is. So that's why kangaroo is saying that your feet are so wet and so cold and would probably give me the rheumatism, said the kangaroo. So kangaroo says, and probably he would catch rheumatism if he would allow duck to sit on his back. Now see, first of all, the spelling of rheumatism. It is very interesting thing. Now the spelling of rheumatism is not this. The spelling is R-H-E-U. Okay, it's not the spelling. R-O-O is wrong here. It should be R-H-E-U. But the poet, in order to give rhyming scheme to roo and kangaroo, so that's why the poet has used this spelling of the word rheumatism. Okay, so you need to see that poet has done this several times in this poem in order to give the rhyming effect. He has changed the word. He has discovered, like I told you about D and jelly-boo-lee. Again, these two words, why the poet has used this word is to give the rhyming effect to the poem. Now see the rhyming effect here. It is duck, luck, okay, then bold and cold, and then roo and kangaroo. So that's the reason why poet has given this effect, okay, to match the rhyming scheme of the poem. Now, what is the meaning of roo matters is that when a person catches roo matters, maximum time people who have very weak joints, they catch cold, okay, because of this cold weather, these people, they start having pain in their joints, in their knees, okay. So all these joint areas, here you start getting pain, a weird kind of pain that is only because of cold weather. So that term is known as rheumatism. So the kangaroo says that if you are going to sit on my back with your cold feet and wet feet, then kangaroo is going to catch rheumatism, and because of this rheumatism, his joints will be paining a lot because he's going to catch this cold. Understood what is the meaning of rheumatism? Then let's move forward. Then said the duck, I sat on the rocks, I have thought over that completely, and I bought 4 pairs of worsted socks. Now the duck again gives an answer to the query of a kangaroo, to the concern of kangaroo, and says that don't worry about it. I was sitting on the rock and was thinking about it for a long period of time, because I know this is going to be your concern, your objection, your problem. So that's why duck said that I have already thought of the solution, and I have for this reason only I have brought 4 pairs of worsted socks. Worsted is a woolen socks which will keep her feet completely warm. So the solution already, duck had already thought of the solution, and that's why she has brought 4 pair of worsted very warm woolen socks so that the kangaroo does not catch rheumatism and cold. Which fit my web feet neatly, and to keep out the cold I have brought a clock. Now she says that don't worry about it, I have brought 4 pairs of worsted socks, woolen socks, which are going to fit the feet of the duck very neatly, because the feet of the duck is very weird. It's something like this, okay, 5 ways which are joined together. So that's why she says that I have brought socks which is according to my size and according to my fit, and completely that fits my feet completely. And in order to keep herself warm because of the cold which is outside, even for her body she has brought a clock. Now clock spelling here is C-L-O-A-K. Don't get it confused with the clock which is wall clock, C-L-O-C-K. Don't get it confused. C-L-O-A-K means a kind of long coat, overcoat, which is used in order to protect yourself from the cold weather. So that is clock, long coat basically. So she says that she is also having a clock in order to wear it so that she can protect herself from the cold. And every day a cigar I will smoke. Then duck also says that she is going to smoke a cigar in order to keep her body also warm, because duck is meant to be in such a weather which is actually too cold, and the duck's body is structured in this way that her body is too cold. So she would smoke a cigarette, so that she could keep her body also warm. All to follow my own dear true love of a kangaroo. Now duck also says that I will be doing all these things, not for myself, but for my dear fellow, to protect, to follow the rules of my dear fellow. And who is this fellow? And love of a kangaroo. So she's saying that I would do all these things. I'll take all the pressure, all the burden upon me of wearing these socks and clock and then smoking a cigar. I'll do all these things. For what reason? For my love for you. So she's actually saying that I really like you as a friend. I really admire you, and I want to travel on your back, and that's why I would do anything you would request me to do. Now you see here, duck is now considering kangaroo as her own friend, and that's why she's trying to convince him, trying to do all the possible things so that they both can travel around the world. Now moving on to the next paragraph. Said the kangaroo, I am ready. Now the kangaroo says that, okay, fine, if you are fine, then I am also fine with it, that I am ready. I do not have any problem. all in the moonlight pale, but to balance me well, dear duck, sit steady. So now he says that all in the moonlight pale. So at the moonlight during the time of night, as moon is there and moonlight is pale, because pale here again means something which is very yellowish, something which is very dull. Pale is dull. Okay, now as faces turn pale when they turn old. Okay, so that's the meaning of pale. So pale is something which is very dull, something which turns very yellowish. Now why moonlight is yellowish? Because the light of the moon is not as bright as the light of the sun. So that's why moonlight is being called as pale in the poem. Now all in the moonlight pale, it is a night time, and the kangaroo says to balance me well, because kangaroo is going to hop, he's going to jump a lot. So he asks the duck to sit steady, to sit straight and do not move a lot, to sit in a one position only, because kangaroo is going to move, he is going to jump, and if duck is going to move, the balance is not going to be good. There will be a lot of imbalance. So in order to make a proper balance, kangaroo asks the duck to sit properly and not to move a lot. Then he says, and quite at the end of my tail, and please sit at the end of my tail, on one edge, on one corner of the tail, so that the balance of my body is equally maintained. So away they went with a hop and a bound, and they hopped for the whole world 3 times round. Now again, bound and round, it's just used to give the rhyming effect, otherwise bound has no relation over here. So he says that away and away they went. They went so many places they covered so many different places they have covered while the kangaroo was actually hopping, and they both together, they went and took the round of the whole world 3 times. So 3 times they have taken the round of the whole world, which is again impossible. It's not possible to even take round of world once in their lifetime for kangaroo and duck, but as it is a poem and as it is a nonsense poem, as I have told in the beginning, so that's why they are saying that they have taken round of the world thrice. Now talking about the nonsense, first of all, the biggest nonsense is that it's not possible for duck to sit on the back of kangaroo and to hop, right? It's not at all possible. But just to give it to show that how a poem can also be written, that's why it's being written in this way. And then he says that, and who so happy, oh who, as the duck and the kangaroo. So the poet ends the poem by saying that, and who would be so happy? Tell me who. So who, he is saying that, oh please tell me who is going to be so happy as the duck and the kangaroo, because they have found the complete perfect match for each other. They have perfectly gained that friendship, that they both are going to support each other and they are going to be so happy when they are hoping together throughout. So that's why who so happy, who, said the duck to the kangaroo. So this was the end of the poem. Now let's see the conclusion.